Welcome to Family Business World. I'm here with some wonderful family business, but some of my best friends in the world, Nish and Parikh. Welcome to Family Business World. Thanks for coming. After we're done, you're going to fall in love with this business like I am. So let's start. Rangam, what does Rangam do?
We help people find a meaningful job.
Wonderful, wonderful, excellent. And so you do that through temporary staffing, or what's?
So we work with candidates, help them match their skill set with corporations. We do direct hires, permanent hiring, or contingent, depend on how customers, what their workforce strategy is. In order to meet their goals, we work with our candidates and build customized workforce solution for our customers.
Wonderful. Now, Hetal, you were telling me the other day that you started out as a consulting firm. How did it get started?
So, Rangam is technically a company that was started with a group of people that have a passion around technology, right? So, when I say group of people, that's Nish and I, obviously. But then we have obviously, of course, attract a lot of great people that we get surrounded by that gives us a force of good energy.
Right.
And so one of the things that Rangam really stands for is truly, we believe that we want to be able to provide an environment and a focus is on providing quality of life for our candidates.
Yep.
So we're very passionate about serving and supporting the candidates that actually are looking for meaningful opportunity, as Nis has mentioned, right? That's clearly very important to us because oftentimes resources and talent have some amazing skills, but they don't always get the opportunity to be able to have access to the right type of jobs that they, number one, might be passionate about. Number two, that's what they really have the truly skills in. And so for many reasons in our corporate world and in the I would say in the actual the world in itself in that we live in, the recruiting model is turning into more of a commodity base.
Right,
and
right.
what Rangam team and what we really believe in is really putting and bringing that human touch to the system and the processes. And how do we hone in on developing a true, unique opportunities for our individuals that are looking for meaningful opportunities that will ultimately, at the end of the day, provide quality of life for them and for their families.
So you
and
put
the
people
around
first.
them.
I mean, you've always
People
been in the
first.
group putting people first. Nish, yeah.
And other perspective is we have a very interesting role to play between our job seekers and our employers. For employers, we always say at Rangam, empathy drives innovation. Employers are always looking for new ways to hire talent, bring innovation. And the way we have been doing for last 20 years is constantly innovating, putting the empathy, put ourselves in our customers' shoes and our candidates' shoes, and be
And your employees' shoes as well, right?
employee shoes. Of course, yes, because they are the driving force behind it, and that's how we are influencing and creating this culture of empathy within the organization, and in order to understand our customers better, our candidates better, and then we are kind of a bridge between them. And one of the most important thing we do at Rangam is with a mission of promoting employment for everyone.
Right,
Employment for everyone, inclusive of people with disability, people on the autism spectrum, and
Veterans and
veterans.
others. And so now, Hetal, you do the traditional. What's a typical kind of person that you help place?
It varies.
Right, there's
It
no
can
typical,
range
huh?
from anywhere from a mom who is coming back to the workforce, and oftentimes, they lose confidence in their abilities, but they have amazing skills, but they forget that just because you took time off for whatever family reasons, your true inner skills and the abilities that you have are still there. It's like riding a bicycle. But so anywhere from individuals that are highly skilled, that are IT professionals, engineers, business professionals, financial analysts. So we support and provide opportunities for wide spectrum
Right.
of various different types of labor categories.
Interesting. And so some people don't want a full-time, they want, they have great technology skills, they want to be a consultant, so they want to do that. And you've really grown over the years. What's
Right,
been your
right.
secret of growth success?
I think when you have a true passion around putting your candidate first, everything else just sort of trickles down. But most important thing I think I would say is having the right set of people
Right.
that follow your mission, that follow your vision, and we've been very fortunate to be able to have the right team members who have a true passion around, because let's face it, staffing and recruiting, it's not a very, I would say, highly attractive
In and of
industry,
itself.
right? In itself, yes.
But you have made that. I mean, Nish is a technology, genius in doing some things, and that's really set apart. People hear staffing. There are all sorts of staffing companies, and they're doing really well now. But the innovation and the technology, and sometimes it takes failing at some things first, trying some things. So let's talk a little bit about kind of your transition into doing some innovative technology things in new areas.
So for any family business or small business, it's very critical how we collaborate. In our case, we've been collaborating and partnering with I call this cross-industry collaboration, partnering with the staffing industry partners, partnering with the disability community and autism community, and understanding the pain from both sides and build some solution which has a societal impact. I think that's a real innovation. And when you find, it took us about 12 years to figure out, and building a lot of innovative technology and solutions and trial and errors, but it was a great journey of learning, and through that journey I call this circle of innovation. What we found a few years back is a solution which is very much needed in the society, which is very much in demand by our customers, and the disability community is really looking for it. So that triangle is so powerful, and which is really driving our success for the next phase of growth.
Well, I have to tell the audience that, and they're being very modest, and so I happen to be the president of the largest special needs district, so students who are on the autism spectrum, who are multiply disabled, and who have emotional challenges. And I brought Nish to the Center for Lifelong Learning, a LEED Platinum certified school, one of the 20th greenest schools in the United States, but the only one for students on the autism spectrum. And Nish came and walked and just fell in love with the students and said, the technology isn't what it needs to be, and started out developing curriculum, but really transitioned into employment, which is their bread and butter. And I know Hetal probably hated me because they spent millions of dollars trying to develop this, because they fell in love with these young people, and out of their own pocket they actually invested in doing special things that most shareholder companies would never do.
Nobody
would never think about doing.
Yes.
Yet you did that, and so
I have to go through the approval.
Exactly, approval. And so I'm sure she didn't like me as you were spending all this money on this. But now it's really paid dividends. So let's talk about Spectrum Careers and
Sure.
And what you're doing.
So our journey of, I would call this, circle of innovation started with special needs education, where I spent a full 1 year in the special needs classroom, and that's where my learning was, I would say, best time of my life, where I learned about special needs, about some amazing staff who is putting really heart and soul and expertise to help these individuals acquire those skills which we acquire on our own, where the staff has to work really hard. And that was just an amazing experience. And through that journey, I learned a lot about how the individuals acquire that skill. So we started building some technology tool where the goal was anytime, anywhere together. Child on the spectrum is one. How do we build, how do we leverage technology and help these individuals so that all the stakeholders working with that child is working together and helping that individual to acquire those skills. So what they are learning in the classroom, how do we replicate that and extend that in the home settings where parents with passion and a lot of dedication, they can leverage this technology and help the child in a different setting. So work together.
You partnered with Autism Speaks to do this, right?
That was, then that's after that, once we start building the technology on the education for special needs education, we won this Verizon's Powerful Answer Award as a seed money. We got $500,000, and I think that was...
Well, let's talk about it, because that's you both went to Vegas, right?
Yes.
And it was a global competition.
Yes.
Right, and they were looking for innovative products. Say a little bit about that. What were they? What was Verizon looking for?
So Verizon was looking for innovative solution or idea which can change the world, and they had 3 categories, and one of the category was education, and we participated in that, about 1,400 applications from about 35 different countries.
Wow.
And we went through various phases of evaluation, and last stage was a pitch in front of some of the top-notch VCs and investors.
That was at their convention. Which convention was this in Vegas? And
that was...
was it the annual technology
convention? CEI, I think is it.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is a big convention.
It's a big convention.
Yeah,
So that was a very thrilling experience, and I think more than anything, it was really a game-changing incidents, and that's where we started learning that there is a need, there is a business also along with the societal impact. Right. So it's not just we are not going to continue as an initiative. How do we convert that into a product where there is a huge societal impact, but opportunity to grow Rangam by offering this unique solution. So that was in the space of education. And of course, we started exploring other challenges, and I think that time I learned from you that the challenges about the employment for people with disability and people on the spectrum. They call after 21 the cliff, where the families and individuals, they face challenge in finding the meaningful
Well, let me
job.
explain for the audience that there's funding for students on the autism spectrum really up until age 21. And so it's the best and worst day that students, and certainly at the Educational Services Commission, students graduate at 21, but they don't have the support services. And so I know the commission's starting a 21 and over program, but then employment becomes so important. And many folks didn't believe that they could be employed. And so as the employment expert...
So this is where I think I appreciate what you have just said earlier, but the fact that, yes, sometimes it's very difficult to see. And in any organizations, there's always that one person who's a visionary.
Right.
And they do struggle a lot. And then there's also the team of individuals who have that practical path of pursuing a practical path. Right. So with all of this said, at this one end, when we had our staffing division that was evolving and growing, and as well as because of our technology platform and our differentiator,
right.
what this really did was really bring us right back to the full circle
of the technology. So we're going to take a break, but I want to pick that up, that you actually have gone way over here, but came back home. Yeah. So we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back after the commercials.
Have a permanent digital copy of your live segment to link to your social media, embed into your company website, or use in email marketing. Investing in your brand is so very important, and we can't wait to have you as a guest.
Shelter dogs aren't broken. They've simply experienced more life. If they were human, we would call them wise. They would be the ones with tales to tell and stories to write, the ones dealt a bad hand who responded with courage. Do not pity a shelter dog. Adopt one.
Say we've got grit, and we'll take it as a compliment. Because it's our uncommon drive, our spark within, that brings us together and sets us apart. We are temple made. And when others take shortcuts, when others take breaks, when others take the easy way, we take charge.
Add us on social media to watch bloopers, behind the scenes footage, previews, and more.
I work 13 hours a day, 6 days a week. So when I'm off the clock, I gotta get stuff done. So when I need a snack, I need something healthy, tasty, and easy to eat. Like wonderful pistachios.
Well, we're back with Hetal and Nish Parikh from Rangam Consultants, and we talked about their staffing business, which morphed into traditional staffing, but working with folks on the autism spectrum. And Hetal was telling a story about how you've come full circle.
So, well, our entire journey has been very exciting, thrilling, and I love adventures. If you know me, you know all the crazy stuff that I love to do. So this entire path of our 15 to 20 years of our organization, it has been like a rocky road. You know, there are times you kind of struggle, you wonder, are we on the right path? What is going on? And then something sparks up, like Verizon's Powerful Answers Award gives you an award. They're like, all right, you know, let's continue
That's
doing.
confirmation that you're going on the
You're
right
going
path,
on the
right?
right path.
Right.
But at the end of the day, oftentimes you don't really realize where that journey and the path is leading you. Right. And for us, the aha moment came when it all came back into understanding and learning about how much the individuals, once they became an adult, how they struggled in getting a meaningful job. Either they were underemployed or not employed for the most part. And on the other side, we see this great opportunity with large organizations, and they're willing to hire people. They're just looking for the right talent. They're willing to do whatever it takes. And so that's what really brought it all together and made it more exciting. In an environment and in an industry that is a commodity-driven industry, our organization, our team, has now found some sense of a purpose, a rewarding feeling. When you see the outcomes of what you're impacting, when you're helping an individual get the right job, not just a job, getting the right job for them. And then when you see what they're able to do and how they're able to flourish and grow and the happiness that it brings them, it really helps our team and myself and Nish to say we want to keep on doing. There's a lot more that needs to be done, but this is what helps our organization just keeps moving.
But that's empathy driving innovation. That's a perfect example for the audience to know that because they feel the pain of other folks, they have an innovative product that nobody else has done. So you want to talk a little bit about that?
And that pain is, as we all know, in the United States, there are about 55 million people with some visible or invisible disability. That's what we learned during this transition.
55 million people, wow.
So 1 out of 5 has some kind of a visible or invisible disability, out of which about 15 million people, they are ready to go to work. They are looking for meaningful employment. Either they are, they don't have a job, or they are underemployed. So some of those challenges we started learning, and I started asking questions that is there like a monster.com or hardjobs.com for this population? And what I learned that there is nothing out there. So just as a corporate part of our corporate social responsibility initiatives, we partner with Autism Speaks, and we build this platform called the spectrumcareers.com.
Wonderful.
And through that process, what we learned that hiring people with disability, people on the spectrum, neurodiverse talent, is finding the talent.
I love that term, neurodiverse talent. I like that. That's the term, neurodiverse talent.
Right. Neurodiverse talent is not just finding the talent is not the only challenge corporations are facing. They are looking for more end-to-end solution, and that's really how we started our journey of building a solution, source-able, where we source, scale, and sustain uniquely able talent. Sustain is the most important part of this innovative program and a technology platform.
And that's your brand, the Source-Abled.
Sourceabled.com.
Nice.
And the challenge is hiring is just a first step. How do we create the right environment? How do we understand and make sure that everybody in the workplace understands their challenges, their strengths and weaknesses? It's a little bit of extra work, but there is a huge payoff. It's corporations, they have recognized that, and in last few years we have seen tremendous need and acceptance by large corporations where they are really looking.
So you're
into this
training
talent.
the folks in the corporation who are actually, working with folks to really know how to do that,
So
because
let
it's
me
a unique
give-
way to do that.
So I'd
Yeah.
like to give you an example
Fantastic.
of why this is so critical and important. Well, Nish mentioned that finding the individual is not the only thing, because you'll have a champion in an organization that understands the value of hiring these individuals
Right,
that are very different, that may not be that may have different abilities, different ways of thinking, different ways of looking at things. What happens is they'll get hired, but once that champion is no longer there, the other team members or maybe the new reporting manager may not have that same understanding or an awareness.
Empathy, right?
Right? So what our program does is really creates a right and inclusive environment and a platform. So regardless of the fact that their champion is, may still be there within the organization, but all the other team members have had the same experience and understanding.
Right.
And now that individual doesn't lose their job
Right.
because
Right.
now they're in a different group of people that don't really understand their unique abilities.
So I call this more, consistent culture, right?
Right.
Because as the world of work is changing, people are coming and going. Millennials are going to change, I don't know how many jobs at age 35.
Right.
Workplace has become so dynamic, and if there is just one person having some misunderstanding, and I would say misunderstanding, no bad intention or anything.
Just a misunderstanding,
but,
yeah.
because we all are connected to someone with disability, someone on the spectrum. So we all have good intentions to create the right environment, bring them to work, help them with the meaningful employment so they are successful. But that can trigger some of those challenges, and how do we prevent that? But also I want to make one quick point that finding the talent is not only the challenge, but it is a challenge, which is, I don't want to undervalue that challenge, because what we have learned in last 10 years that people with disability and people on the spectrum, they are not used to posture their resume on the traditional job boards, and that has been a huge challenge, and that's what Sourceable is about, where we partner. How do we partner and find this talent and build this?
But you were among the first to do video resumes, right? Didn't you?
Yes.
Didn't you come up with this whole idea of video? Say a little bit about that.
So video resume, the concept of video resume is not new in our world of staffing. It was there. It was introduced maybe 15, 20 years ago, but it was not successful or not fully adopted by traditional staffing industry because of individuals, personal choices. But what the idea was, how do we tap into that existing best practice or available technology and tweak it so that it becomes innovation for people with disability. So just imagine if we can take a video and show what individuals can do for the organization instead of having a paper-based resume where it just has too few lines. So seeing is always, more powerful.
So putting an individual in the right environment where they feel comfortable enough to be able to share what their true abilities would be. So when you're in an interview room, in a room in front, an individual, oftentimes people have social anxieties. They're not able to be themselves. But when you put them in an environment where they can be themselves and then demonstrate what their skills are, the true skills come out, and that's what allows the hiring managers or corporations, when they're looking for this talent, to be able to hone in on that skill. And today, with the talent shortages and a lot of the different challenges that organizations face overall in finding the right talent, this has become critically important to be able to understand, to hire people for the right skills and the right personality and for the right culture.
Well, but it's important for the audience to know that this is not less than that. Many of the folks on the spectrum are the best employees that major companies. Talk about some of the companies that are actually committed to doing this.
So what I'd love to share in that area is there are some amazing large organizations, and some have been paving the ways. They've been the trailblazers, and the others have been passionate. And a lot of these initiatives can and has become successful because it's been a top-down approach.
Right.
What they have actually experienced and found in all of this is that there's a great value in hiring people that are uniquely able, people with disability and autism spectrum. But what they're also finding is that is helping them to also change their current style and the mindsets and how they are dealing with recruiting overall in general. Overall in general, and really helping them to be able to become more inclusive and create that diverse workforce that they're usually looking for. And I know Nish has something that he would
so
share.
every individual on the spectrum is different and very unique in a way. And they bring different values to the organization. In our case, we have so many incidences where we have seen the productivity has gone up, reliability has gone up because they appreciate the most. I will share one quick incident. Somebody.
And unfortunately, we're running out of time, but I want to hear you. I want to hear this story, so we have to end here.
Somebody at Rangam came to me, the intern. He said, "Nish, do you guys have Nish and Hetal? You have any job for me at Rangam?" And I asked him a question that, why you are asking? Because we are looking for real job where you have a career path and growth opportunity. He said, because everyone here, they know me, they like me, and I'm worried when I go to somewhere else, some new place, people will. I said, that's what Source Able does.
Right.
That's what we do. We make sure that where you go, people will be aware of your strengths and weaknesses, and that inclusive culture is very important when we are people. And when they experience that, they become the best employee of the year.
And they feel at home. They feel at home as a family. Well, you're an amazing couple. Thank you for having. We don't have enough time. Maybe one day we'll visit your offices. But you've invested millions on your own for this, and congratulations to you.
Thank you.
And thank you all for watching, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you.